So I get asked the question a lot, do you own your own vehicle, and if so, what is it? Well, I do, and it's a 15-year-old Toyota Tacoma Pre-Runner V6 double cab. And other than the fact I wish it had four-wheel drive, I love it. Which is why I've been anticipating this test week now for so long. This is the next generation 2016 Toyota Tacoma.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's Toyota's approach here. A decade has passed since the last all-new Tacoma was introduced, but no worries, it's been the best-selling truck in its segment since 2008. The headlines here for 2016 include a new V6 engine, transmission, and suspension tuning. The 2.7-liter four-cylinder carries over and is available on the base SR and SR5 grades. It'll save you money at the point of sale, but likely won't provide any better gas mileage than the optional V6. That motor replaces the old 4.0 and makes more with less, with output raised from 236 to 278 horsepower, while its 265 pound-feet of torque remains virtually unchanged, though peaking at a higher RPM.
Though almost exclusively reserved for hybrids, the fuel-saving Atkinson cycle has been applied to the Tacoma's new 3.5-liter V6, with the loss in power density presumably made up for by Toyota's unique valve train and combination fuel injection. But throttle response languishes, and the new 6-speed auto will drive you nuts with its reluctance to keep the engine in its power band. The result is a truck that feels like it has a dead gas pedal and a busy transmission that refuses to hold the right gear.
There is a power mode for the transmission, and you can shift manually at the gear selector. Both alleviate these symptoms, but boy, this isn't good. With that major disappointment on the table, I'm glad to report that this TRD off-road grade lives up to its name, acing every test I threw at it. Big ground clearance, Bilstein shocks, and a bevy of electronic assistance like an auto-limited slip, locking rear diff, multi-terrain select, and crawl control provide the backbone for the Tacoma's tough-as-nails reputation. We had this truck descending icy hills, bobbing across moguls, and tackling heavily rutted and rocky trails, and the only thing that surrendered was the right front Goodyear, ironically with a large gash right through the Kevlar badge, where one particular rock was no match for the tire's Durawall technology. The full-size matching spare definitely came in handy. Now, if I had my druthers, I would take this Tacoma's part-time four-wheel drive system and give it an auto setting for changing surface conditions. Plus, none of these goodies work unless you're in 4-low, such as Terrain Select, which could come in handy for 2-wheel or 4-high driving. That being said, the TRD Off-Road is an excellent grade choice if you're into taking your Tacoma where others fear to go. From a design and appeal perspective, this Inferno double cab with the 5-foot box is a great-looking truck. And even though the main lighting is old school, the daytime running lights are LED. There's smart key entry and push-button start, while running boards are optional to ease the somewhat high step-in. Speaking of which,
I'm not ashamed to admit that now that I'm a little bit older, getting up into the bed of these trucks can be a tad challenging. But Toyota makes this one extra difficult by giving you no place to put your foot once the tailgate is down.
There is an AC outlet, cubbies, movable tie-downs, and for the first time, an optional hard tri-fold tonneau cover with lock. But I'm still scratching my head at this one. Perhaps they just want you to buy the optional bed step for $300. This truck, with the optional tow package, is good for pulling 6,400 pounds, an increase of 300 pounds.
The rear seat leg and headroom on my Tacoma is actually very generous. And compared with my truck, the rear seat legroom is actually less on the new Tacoma.
Yep, it's a little tight back here, and it takes some maneuvering to get the seats folded, where underneath you'll find additional storage. Up front, I like the inclusion of the exterior color running through the dash, and the optional premium and technology package adds the Entune with navigation system. Working in conjunction with your smartphone, Entune apps opens up even more connectivity in the truck. Graphics displays and ease of usability are above average. This truck also benefits from really hot heated seats, dual zone climate control, and a blind spot monitor among other upgrades. No height adjustments for the manual seats, however. It's much quieter now, and the ride comfort, thanks in large part to the upgraded shocks, is comparatively excellent. And when you look out through the windshield, the hood is much more noticeable, giving you the feeling that you're driving a full-size rig. Gas mileage is up 2 mpg, now rated at 20 mpg in combined driving, though my weekly average fell far short of that. Carrying a weighty sticker price of $37,610, I've got mixed feelings about the Tacoma. On the one hand, it performs up to and even beyond its lofty off-road reputation. But on the other hand, the drive just isn't right, and it seems as though Toyota is resting on their laurels here, giving us 5 years of innovation when we were expecting 10. For TestDriveNow.com, I'm Steve Hammis.